Welcome to Dr Joe Unplugged. This podcast contains general information and is not in any way medical advice. Can pumping iron be good for our mental health? Weight training, and I'm quoting from the article here and we'll put it down below, has been shown to help reduce body fat and increase both muscle strength and mass in older people. And look, I think it's been shown to do that in younger people as well, contributing to functional autonomy. So that helps reduce sarcopenia, which is loss of muscle mass, and can be useful in terms of falls prevention. A recent study published in the Journal of Psychiatry Research suggests that weight training can also benefit the mental health of older people. This study was a systematic review and meta-analysis. So again, it's not in some respects new work. It's looking at studies that have already been done. Of over 200 studies and done by the Albert Einstein Jewish Brazilian Institute of Education and Research in Sao Paulo, the findings show that besides improvements in symptoms of depression and anxiety in the general population, weight training appears to have a more significant effect on those diagnosed with depression or anxiety disorders. Additionally, when done in a group setting, it contributes to social interaction as another important mental health benefit. Now, we've spoken before on the podcast about the importance of exercise, not just for physical health and for mental health. This work obviously looking specifically at older adults, and look, I think it's fair to say that it will apply more broadly across the board, even though this study is, or this meta-analysis is looking only at older people. I'll quote, epidemiological studies have shown that the decrease in muscle strength and mass that occurs naturally as we age may be associated with an increase in mental health problems. So obviously doing some resistance type training can help protect muscle, but this work is telling us that it also can benefit our mind. And the separate issue that was mentioned there is doing it in a group. And there's also been work shown that exercising in a group, again, some people prefer solo pursuits, that's fine, but for a lot of people, especially if they haven't exercised for a while, that additional social part can be very beneficial. Now, that might be going to the gym with a few of your friends or joining a group in an older age group. There are some community programs that you can join where you might not know the people to start with, but by doing some exercise with them regularly in the class, you get to know them. And that can also lead to people then going for a coffee, for example, after the exercise class. And loneliness is an increasing issue in many Western societies in particular. And therefore, getting out of the house and connecting with other people has many benefits as well. Loneliness has been associated with higher all-cause mortality than smoking. In fact, it's been made the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Now, we don't see any end of promotions telling you to quit smoking, notwithstanding. And we've also spoken about this in previous podcasts about how the government in Australia is making it harder for people to quit smoking. I heard an ad on the radio yesterday saying, go to it's a government website and we've got all these tips because quitting smoking is hard. Yeah, it can be. And some people just throw away the pack. But you wouldn't think they'd want to make it harder. So loneliness, but you don't see any ads about loneliness, and it's probably fair enough too, because there isn't any government solution to that. In fact, it could be argued, and we've seen evidence of that in recent years, that governments can make it worse. So what are the take-home messages from this? And it's important not to make it too complicated. It's resistance exercise is good for our physical and mental health. Now, people, and in particularly women, get concerned that they're going to end up looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You won't. It really is. I mean, if you really go out of your way and perhaps use some substances that you shouldn't be using, it's I suppose you can really force it. But by doing some resistance exercise, you'll develop some muscle tone and some strength. And in any age group, and certainly in an older age group, that is very, very beneficial in terms of falls prevention and general well-being. If you haven't done it for a while, then it would certainly be useful to talk to a physiotherapist or an exercise physiologist or a personal trainer and possibly start under some supervision, because what you don't want to do is charge in, lift weights that are too heavy, don't have the right technique, end up injuring yourself, and then you're out of the game, to use that analogy. Whereas if you start at a lighter level, use light weights, get your technique right, and that's where guidance is very, very important, then you can build it up over time and get the benefits. Now, resistance training is one of the three important ones. So cardiovascular fitness, whether it's running, walking, swimming, bike riding, whatever you like to do, is important for your cardiovascular fitness. Some flexibility training is good, whether it's yoga, stretching, Tai Chi, Pilates suits a lot of people. And your resistance or weights training is also a very, very important component of your fitness and well-being regime. So at any age group, but I suppose it is a form of exercise that does tend to drop off as people get older. You do tend to see younger people more likely to be in the gym using weights. But at any age, there are benefits for physical and mental health. And there was work done from the University of Sydney probably 10, 15 years ago showing that the oldest person was 103, was actually laying down some new muscles. So you are absolutely never too old to start. Thanks for listening to Dr. Joe Unplugged. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share. You can also follow it on all the socials. There'll be new content uploaded each week.